Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know some people don't want to hear it. My girlfriend lives in Colorado. Shout out, my girlfriend got into the University of Miami Law. She just finished up her first year at University of Denver Law, but she transferred to Miami Law and she got in yesterday. So she's moving in with me. She'll be here in August because she's like doing an internship. So finally went to college together for 4 years, and it's like our first year apart. But either way, the Sixers and Magic are expected to target Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in free agency. And first off, I love this fit for the Magic. Okay, so the way I've seen it is everyone's like, oh, the Sixers and Magic should go after Klay Thompson and Paul George. But I've said all offseason that the Sixers already tried Buddy Hield, but I've said the Magic should look at Buddy Hield and Luke Kennard as as options that are cheaper, giving you almost the similar shooting effect that those two other guys would give you. I know that they give you more than that, just that. But Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Sixers and Magic would love a guy, championship pedigree, 2 rings, 2 separate teams, been a role player, been a starter, been off a bench guy, has a lot to offer as a leader. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is expected to decline his player option, and he's becoming an increasingly sought after free agent target by a plethora of teams. And why not? You get yourself a guy who he's been on teams where, if they're not a contending team, he is a 15, 16 points per game guy. On a contending team, he is a guy who's going to give you 12 a night, but 3-and-D, super efficient. What he shot this year, just under 41%, year before 42%, 10 points a night, 11 points the year before. On the Wizards, he was 13, then back on those Lakers days and Pistons day, 13, 14, almost a 15 point per game guy. So we know that's there. And the Denver Nuggets are unable to sign Caldwell-Pope to an extension. The veteran is expected to decline his option and become a free agent, which means they can still sign him to an extension, I think, until a week from today when the free agency period does start. And in free agency, the Philadelphia 76ers and Orlando Magic are 2 teams that are rumored to have signing interest in signing Caldwell-Pope. I expect Caldwell-Pope. Both teams have plenty of cap space. Philadelphia has the most in the entire league. Orlando, I think, top 5 most in the league, as the Sixers are overhauling their roster around Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and they can go over the cap to sign Tyrese Maxey. So the expectation is they spend a bunch of money, then they go over the cap to re-sign Tyrese. Caldwell-Pope's the perfect, 4th option, 5th option on a team for the Philadelphia 76ers, while Orlando's looking for a backcourt mate to upgrade from Gary Harris next to Jalen Suggs. And the Magic have a limited spending window of 2 years basically before they have to give extensions to Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner's, and those are expected to kick in by 25 and 26. And Marc Stein's the one who's reporting that the Magic and Sixers are interested in Caldwell-Pope, and the expectation is you give them, you remember JJ Redick when he was a free agent, you give him a deal like that. You either do 1-year deal, $20 million, or a 2-year deal, $40 million, or a 1-year, $25 million, or a 2-year, $50 million, depending on how it is, or maybe a 2+1, which is a 3-year deal with 2 years, and then the 3rd year being a non-guaranteed team option. So kind of puts you in a situation to use that money to flip Caldwell-Pope in the 3rd year if you wanted to. Now, if he goes to Philadelphia, he's going to be having a chance to truly chase a ring and play a similar role that he's playing right now. If he goes to Orlando, I think Orlando is going to give him a role that Gary Harris this past season played 24 minutes a night. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would probably play a little bit more, maybe 28 again, but it would still be kind of similar. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would probably be in between a role, either between closer to what he was on the Lakers during those championship years, or he'd be a guy closer to what he's on the Nuggets, but still just a 9-10 points guy. He's just be a guy who's expected to play defense, be a leader in the locker room, and help cultivate a championship expectation amongst either roster. I, as an Orlando Magic fan, as you guys know, I'm an Orlando Magic, Washington Wizards, and Minnesota Timberwolves fan, was born in Minnesota, lived 4 years of my life in Orlando, and then my folks still live in the Baltimore suburbs area, but first year I moved to Maryland. John Wall, that following spring, John Wall was the player that the Wizards were drafted. Got to live 11 years in Maryland full time, and then obviously I go back regularly to visit my folks. But so the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope being as a guy I saw play for the Wizards, and then we've got to see him a lot during the Nuggets run, because when I went to school in Kansas, the Denver Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder, you get like a lot of those games. So he's somebody that I really like. He's a very efficient guy, and I think you need to if he wants another ring, you go to the Sixers. If you want to be a part of something, maybe make a little bit more money, I think you go to the Orlando. I think those are going to be the deciding factors for a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. What do you guys think? I think definitely the way that free agency is playing out, it's going to be, I think, a lot more shorter term deals than we typically see, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I think teams are going to prioritize having the cap flexibility down the road than handicapping themselves to long-term deals that are hard to move, that are going to have to require assets to move. So I think that's just the whole juxtaposition you're going to be seeing more and more as like the new aprons with the new collective bargaining agreements play effects into how teams are managed and built, so you can prioritize winning, etc. But let's get into the next topic, and that is